Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Platform Podcast. As always, I am your host, Dex. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us a follow, leave some comments on there. Let me know who you want to see on upcoming episodes. And today we got an awesome guest lined up here for episode 71. We're getting up there in the episode numbers and breaking into the 70s. Sitting down with someone who is Nashville-based. He is, to me, one of the best talent buyers in the city right now. The owner of Night We Met, one of the hottest venues out here in the city of Nashville. And he's fresh off playing a show with one of the biggest artists in the world, Chris Lake. We're sitting down with Austin Knight from Night We Met. How we doing, man?
Doing all right.
Yeah?
It's our first official time meeting, actually, which is crazy, but...
We were just talking about that a little bit ago, where it's like, I've had a couple guests on here where the first time meeting them is...
Right now.
Right now. But yeah, I mean, just kind of talking about that whole DJ side of things where you're kind of so connected, whether it's on social media or friends that you have in common or artists that you follow, where it's like you see you in the comments or me in the comments and stuff like that. And it's almost like you start to kind of feel like you already know this person a little bit. And obviously I've been to your venue before a couple times and seen everything that you've been doing with the venue. So it's like you sort of feel connected in some way, but it's good to actually meet you in the flesh and get you on the podcast. Cause
thanks for having
me. We got
me.
a lot to talk about. I mean, you've been killing in the last couple of years here. Obviously coming off of kind of changing a career path from the DJ side of things to now being like an owner of the venue and getting into everything there. So for starters, I mean, let these viewers know a little bit about you and how you got into the music industry.
Yeah, I'm originally from the Akron, Ohio area. Went to school at University of Pittsburgh. That's where I started DJing. Started in a frat basement,
nice.
like many DJs.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like right before I feel like DJing became like cool and like everyone wanted to be a DJ. I was like one of two DJs at Pitt when I was there. So I kind of had a monopoly. I was definitely not very good at the time, and there was no one around to tell me that I wasn't good. So it took until I got to Nashville in 2017 to kind of like level up, I feel like, and just be like, wow, I actually don't know what I'm doing. I need to get better. So,
I mean, that's something that I feel like the majority of DJs can relate to where starting out, you're definitely not good. I mean, nobody's ever good. They're their first couple times that they're playing, but having the right people around you to kind of be able to help you grow and realize that there are things that you need to get better at. And then obviously when you're coming out here to be able to kind of jump into all that and improve is awesome. And you're doing all right now, I would say.
I'm doing okay. But I think there was definitely like moments too, like when I would go to festivals where I would see certain sets that would really like make an impact on me, like musically. Movement's one of my favorite festivals, like in the US. I go every year. And there was definitely a bunch of moments there where I'm like, well, I've never heard anything like this before. I've never heard someone like play like that before that kind of like pushed me definitely outside of my comfort zone. So
I always look at festivals and even watching other DJs and listening to other DJs and going to these other cities where I feel like in the DJ community as a whole, like so many people are haters. And I try and look at it as the opposite, where it's like, I find inspiration in listening and seeing so many of these other DJs. No matter who it is, it could be the most small local guy on the scene, but just being able to go and hear somebody, like everyone's going to play something different and play in some different way. But then especially when you're going to some of these major festivals and you're hearing how some of these larger DJs are play, it's definitely inspiring for you and your craft and trying to get better. So
definitely.
But yeah, you got into DJing at Pitt, then coming out here, and then you even got into a little bit of kind of another side of the music industry too, where you're doing a little bit more than DJing.
Yeah.
And when did when did it kind of lead to like you transitioning into a booking side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably like early 2019, like started talent buying.
Yeah.
I came from like just the marketing side purely. I did that for a while, social media marketing. And then, 2019 kind of got into the talent buying side and being like a promoter, which I think like all the things are kind of different, but also converge at a certain part. DJing, promoting, and then talent buying, the venue side. They all kind of like flow together, but they're all definitely like different skill sets.
Yeah, I feel like the DJing and promoting side is something that is almost required at this point for the majority of DJs. But then being able to kind of make yourself into a full trio of being able to be good at all three is obviously going to help you at the venue side of things too. Yeah. But the having a little background in the marketing and the promo doesn't hurt on the DJ side or on the venue side.
Yeah, definitely.
When did you, I guess, kind of transition from starting to book people and working with promo? Obviously, then you're still DJing at the time and you're playing events and other venues and things like that, to then deciding like, hey, I want to open up my own spot. I want to do this myself. Yeah,
I mean, I think like being in the promotion game and like going into other people's venues, it's just too hard to make money doing that. If you don't have the bar, like it's just not sustainable. Yeah. Unless you're at like an insane scale, like a AEG or Live Nation, like you're just not going to make money because the margins are too thin. And so one of my friends in real estate, Molly, tipped us off that our club now was going on the market, but it was before it was on the market. We went through and walked through. My parents are also in the venue with me, and they're huge into house music and the scene as well.
That's awesome.
So we walked through it, and we're like, there's probably not going to be a better opportunity that comes along, like just with the space itself. We pulled the trigger in February of 2023. And it was our first, endeavor in like the hospitality kind of realm too. Yeah. So definitely a little bit scary when we signed the lease, but then we just had to figure it out after that.
Yeah. I mean, talk a little bit about just kind of jumping back to that promo side of things and hitting on what it kind of takes to make the revenue and when you're doing it at another venue where it's like, well, the majority of the times you're getting like a ticket split, but then here in Nashville, we'll get into that, I'm sure, a lot later, but like no one's doing tickets. So then as a promoter out here and doing these events and stuff, how are you able to even make revenue? Yeah,
I mean, it's tricky. Like if you're going into someone else's room and it's a non-ticketed event, unless you're getting a really good bar split or
table sales,
tables,
stuff like that,
but it's hard to sell tables in a space if people aren't used to buying tables there, which that's a whole different discussion in Nashville. Like we kind of had to teach people what tables were, I guess, in our club or in the context of our club. It's not, I mean, it is a big component financially for us, but we didn't want it to take away from like the overall experience of people on the dance floor. So it's tricky. I mean, I don't know how you would do it now. I've been out of like kind of promoting at other spaces for a while where I don't know how it would be sustainable, honestly.
Yeah, I could get it in other markets where ticketing is more feasible, but like I guess that's probably why we don't have promoters anywhere here. Like Nashville is really one of the only cities that I've gone out to or that I've lived in that just straight up doesn't have promoters for the majority of the bars and clubs and everything downtown. But that makes sense as to why, because it's like you're not going to go into Whiskey Row and get a 10% bar split from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'd just be giving away free money to you.
They're just like a standalone, they already have the pool. So it's like at a certain point, it's like we know we're going to get the traffic anyway. Like why would we spend money?
Exactly.
Or why would we give away a part of it?
You're literally just giving away free money. But yeah, I mean, starting night we met, like you said, signing that lease and just kind of that not fear, but a little bit of anxiety of being like, all right, now we have to start our first nightlife component and get into this. What did you kind of have in mind prior to jumping on and starting this venue? Did you guys have a vision of what you wanted it to be? And
I mean, yes, to an extent, but obviously as you get in the weeds of it, like you have to adapt and like change your kind of mindset, like as things progress. I mean, the first purchase we made, which I think was like in February of 2023 was the Void sound system. And I knew that from the first Miami Music Week I ever went to. I saw Dennis Cruz back-to-back Chus and Ceballos in some random warehouse, and they had a Void sound system. And I was like, if we ever have the opportunity to open something of our own, we're getting a Void sound system.
Yeah.
So that
I feel
was
like that's like the first thing that everybody says about Night We Met is how good it sounds in there.
Yeah, we put a lot of time and thought into the sound, and like I didn't want to put like any LED walls in the space. I knew that as well. I just wanted it to be like really about the music and the dance floor.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of our brand like pillars, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah.
I feel like that's something that you kind of have a vision prior, but it's like now you're 2 years in, and this can always just keep getting adjusted, and you hone in on things that you can do better and better. So it's always funny to me to kind of see like what the vision was prior and how much that vision has changed over these years.
Yeah.
And obviously the name Night We Met, you're Austin Knight. What's the play on words there?
Yeah, it's actually not like a pun or anything on my last name. I was trying to, this is probably, I don't know, two years before we locked in the club, but I was trying to come up with like a party name that was like a day party and a night party.
Yeah.
And I was just going through my tracks like for name inspo, and there's one of my favorite tracks like of all time. It's called Day We Met by Fatima Yamaha. And I was like, Day We Met, Night We Met. That would be a sick like day and night party kind of name. And that, nothing ever happened with that as like a party, but like the Night We Met name stuck with me for like, it was just one of those names that it stuck with me for like 2 years. And then we opened the club, and I'm like, it has to be called Night We Met. There's no other name.
I've always thought that it was just like, because of the last name. And I was like, damn, this is really creative to call it that.
That would be too much, I think, with the last name. But yeah, I think it like naturally, like when you say it, like it takes you back to like a core memory. So like people have that like nostalgia feeling already when they say the name. So,
of, hey, the night we met.
Yeah, exactly.
So starting up this venue, how kind of intentional were you with the format of the music? Was it where you are now, or was prior, were you kind of able to kind of play everything? Was there open format going on? Was there dubstep? Was there more electronic music in a different field from dance and house music? And then how did you kind of have to shift that? Like, or why did you have to shift that? Like, did the crowd not react to things early on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like way more niche actually when we started. It was like more underground than it is now. Just because like when the whole time we were building out the space, I felt like it was going to be a more intimate room than it actually is. I mean, it's, 375, like you can fit a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
And
what is like the back room?
I mean,
375 is total
like
the venue?
Yeah, pretty much total between the two rooms.
Okay.
I had in my head that it was going to be more of an intimate space than it actually is. And it's like, I definitely started booking like more underground, like deep house and like more niche kind of subgenres within house music. And then I was like, we have like a lot of tickets to sell. Like this can't be sustainable. So I definitely had to pivot. And I mean that this is simultaneous with like, some people have never even been to a nightclub before that are coming in, especially when we opened, just because they're trying to come check it out and see what it is, see what we're about. So definitely was more underground to start, and then I've kind of pivoted into like different lanes now. I mean, I feel like we're, you know, we have a sound definitely that we like stay between the spectrum of, but like, you know, we just started doing a lot more like UKG. That's like really popping now, obviously in the US, which is insane to me. But yeah, we have like a hard techno artist coming in June. That's kind of a new lane that we're kind of branching into, trying to do some harder stuff and just see like, you know, if people want it, you know, it's kind of, I feel a responsibility to bring artists in that realm to the city.
Yeah, because you know that there's got to be a good amount of people here that do want to hear that. And I mean, if they don't have anywhere else to listen to it,
exactly,
you can be that venue.
Yeah.
I was going to kind of touch on that of just starting this venue. I mean, was it something that you kind of looked at because you saw that space that needed to be filled here in Nashville? Because I see it all the time running everything at Barstool, and it's like, dude, there's so often where I'm just like, it's crazy to me how minimal the dance music scene is here in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, I think like maybe we were a little bit early when we opened the venue, but like the scene was ready. The house and kind of techno world was ready for a standalone, like they were ready for the consistency.
Yeah.
At least they are now. And that kind of coincided, I feel like, with just like the general popularity of house music in the US, which it's like at its peak. At least it feels like that to me right now in my life. Where, I mean, you have college kids like listening to Kedema, and it's insane. Like when I was in college, I would sneak in a Disclosure track at the end of every set just for myself. Like,
and people are like, what the fuck is it?
Exactly.
No, I mean, I look at even the Vegas lineups where it's like you look at Live and you look at all these other spots.
They have like Prospa and Josh Baker at Live. It's
on
like,
their resident lineup. Yeah.
So
that's what I've kind of talked about in previous shows where I'm like, dude, you can clearly tell that the house music scene is booming because that's who these top venues are going for with residencies. Totally. So it's cool to see that. But then, I mean, even touching on just like starting out and having that kind of underground sound when you are starting, where then if you're in a market that they don't really kind of resonate to these artists or are drawn to it to even get out to your venue at first, it's like you kind of have to make that shift until you can build that trust within your clientele, where I feel like that's where it comes into getting in some of these artists that are a draw and are a little bit bigger a name. You kind of build that trust with your clientele, and then it's like you can really put on whoever because they have that trust with you that like they know the artists that you're booking are going to be good. Yeah,
that is the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do is like make it a softer ticket and be like, you might not know who the headliner is, but you trust that like the experience and the vibe is going to be consistent. So I think we're definitely like building towards that and getting there. I see that like probably the most with just like the walk-up tickets are the best way, I guess, for me to like judge that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's other factors like weather and, you know, what else is going on in the city. But, you know, when we started out, like we were not getting the walk-ups because people, you know, we are off of Broadway. And so like you have to kind of seek us out and like know about it.
You become like a destination.
You're not going to just stumble upon us, you know? So,
I mean, looking into this last year, you guys have booked insane talent through 2025 alone. And then obviously now we're 4 months into 2026 and you guys are still going. Reading off a couple of the names from 2025 of who has played at the venue. You guys have had A-Craze, Cassian, Sid, Dombreski, Goodfella, Hills, Hunter, Jackie Hollander, Odd Mob, Omnom, Roddy Lima, Shipwreck, and West End.
Yeah.
And that's just to name a few.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch more. You guys had that entire post that kind of highlighted all of the artists that played at Night We Met in 2025, which is awesome. So you go from all of those artists in 2025. You guys are now fresh off your 2-year anniversary where you had Cream, Silva Bumpa, who, touching on that UK sound, is one of the biggest right now in the UK. And then Raggy Bond, who are three of, I mean, I think massive, like up and coming Cream. I feel like it's been here a little bit longer, but like those two are going to be names that are going to be here to stick around for the next couple of years. Yeah. How do you kind of decide who you wanted for that 2-year anniversary party?
I mean, part of it was like sheer luck of timing and then being available. I'm not going to lie, but when I could nudge like, hey, you should do this weekend because it's our 2-year anniversary. I did try to angle the dates, but ultimately I wanted to put together like a 3-day run that was different each day.
Yeah.
And it really was like the crowd, the sound was completely different each day of the 2-year anniversary run. So
because Rocky's Brazilian, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then you have Cream, who then you get a duo that's a little bit like harder.
Yep.
And then you get Silva Bumpa, who's going to have that UK garage and house kind of sound, and then Rocky being able to bring you a little bit Brazilian sound too.
Yeah.
So
it couldn't have gone better, honestly, for a 2-year, like just with the diversity of the sounds, and I feel like it represented like what we are in a really good like light city. So,
all in a 3-day span.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a customer coming to any of those 3 days, that really, I feel like, kicks it off for you to be like, damn, this is the place that I want to go. But yeah, I mean, guys like Silva Bumpa, who was absolutely crushing in the UK. I mean, he's doing sold out tours last year, headlining a bunch of spots out there. And from a booking standpoint, like I look at artists like that, where I still feel like the majority of people here in the US, like if I were to go to most of my friends that aren't DJs, and even a good chunk of my friends that are DJs but not in the house music side of things, they might not know a name like that. How do you kind of go into booking guys like that? And do you look at it as like a risk because they may not be popular over here, but they're massive overseas? Yeah,
I mean, that one was kind of just purely a timing thing. Like I did book it pretty early on.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember the exact month that I booked that like out from the 2-year anniversary, but that one I was definitely early on. I wasn't like, yeah, this show's going to sell out for sure. I was like, I really want this for the 2-year. And I think it kind of, that was the start of it. And I was like, I mean, it's our 2-year anniversary. Obviously it's going to be a softer ticket because of that alone. So it kind of hedged the risk a little bit there. But I mean, I just saw how he was trending. Like, I mean, he was going crazy on TikTok, like alone, which I feel like taps into the college crowd, even in Nashville, like, and the crowd was definitely a little bit more collegey that night too. It was definitely a younger crowd, but yeah, I mean, I just saw where it was going. Each release like seemed to be bigger than the last that he was kind of putting out. And I was like, you don't get credit for being early in Nashville a lot of the time, but that one just,
I feel like that's got to be one of the scariest things though. I mean, I look at it all the time where it's like, when you're trying to scout these artists, like you want to be the first one to get them in, but you also don't want to be too early where then nobody knows them and then you're losing all this money. But trying to kind of gauge of like when these guys are going to pop, like when you start to listen to the sets and you hear these IDs and you see these IDs going viral where it's like, all right, cool. Like if I can get him now and then 3 months, this song is out. Yeah. And now that song's massive. Like then it ends up kind of being a great booking where there's a lot of times where it's like you can almost be too early where then they're not a draw yet.
It's like I've tried to balance like not booking too far ahead to where I might get an avail or something for an artist. And I'm like, I missed out on it because I booked too far in advance.
Yeah.
So it is tricky, but I have to, when I feel strongly about an artist and like how they're trending, or like maybe the agent tips me off to be like, hey, they have like releases on XXX label. I'm like, all right, I know they're going to pop by the fall. Yeah. So let's lock it in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it goes that way too.
Yeah. That's similar like what we did we had Sid. Yeah. Fancy Shit was trending all over. It wasn't even out yet. We had him booked at a couple of our venues. Yeah. Because I knew that was about to come out and be like the number one song. Yeah. Just from following and listening and listening to all these DJ sets when I'm trying to find music all the time. And then same thing, like we just had Dancin' in West Palm, who, as I booked him, was about to put out a song on Experts Only. Not only put out a song on Experts Only, but then he ended up doing a mix for Experts Only Radio too. Yes. All like 2 weeks prior to us having him at our venue. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like this just does even more for the venue.
I just locked him too at the club.
He was
not,
awesome,
not announced yet, but
yeah, he was awesome. He was super easy to work with. I did not know that he was DLMT.
Yeah. I also didn't know that, but then when I was, doing my due diligence, I was like, oh, okay. All right, this makes a lot of sense.
We were just
he just came out of the gates swinging. And
but it's crazy like how many guys are rebranding like that. I mean, you look at a Hills who are at the top right now of every single thing that they put out is a top track on Beatport, and they're getting their shit played by every single artist. Yeah. But it's like they were Breathe Carolina a couple years ago. Totally. They rebrand. And then it's like I look at a guy like Damaged Goods, who is now SA, and he's got one of the top 10 tracks on Beatport, and then had another one followed up and was another top 10 track.
Yeah.
And it's like he's got to be 40 plus years old.
Yeah.
And to think about guys like that, like rebranding at this age is just even more of an inspiration where it's like, all right, cool. Like you have time to do this, whether you're a DJ, whether you're a producer, like there's so many of these guys that are rebranding right now and completely changing their sound.
Yep. Brand, everything.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I mean, for up and coming like producers and stuff, it's like you can pivot and just start over.
Yeah.
Like, and no one will know.
Yeah.
or care, honestly. If the music's good and like, it's resonating with people and like your DJ sets are resonating with people, like you can just completely start over. You just can't be scared to, I guess, because it is, kind of, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that and stuff. But
100%. Yeah. But yeah, you guys are fresh off that 2-year anniversary. You just announced actually yesterday, you guys just locked in Omri too, which is another huge one. Another one who he's got an ID circulating right now from Miami Music Week. Pretty sure it's called Shut It Down. Doesn't even have the name for it yet. So, but it's one that I heard from his set at Miami Music Week, and I was like, damn, this shit is dope. Track that you're going to try and find, but
that one was like definitely, I think I had to book a couple artists to get to him to get ready for that. We just had starting like last spring, we booked Yamaguchi like with the Maccabi house kind of sound. And then we just had Club to Combat and Raphael that are all like in the same like realm. And so I think like the timing of booking him, I think is going to time up right. And I mean, he's one of my favorite producers right now. And DJ.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Who's an artist that you've had booked that looking back on it, you think was like the biggest risk for you to book?
Oh man, there was a lot in the first year that I definitely was taking some swings. I mean, we brought Scream pretty early on.
Okay.
Which like, it was kind of one of those where, I mean, he's just such an OG and like, I wanted to book him just because it's like, I wanted the stamp on our scene. Cause I don't think he's ever, to my knowledge, he's never played
in Nashville before.
Yeah. But yeah, just a lot of the time, like bringing the more like OG DJs that have been around or in Europe for a long time and haven't like really played in like the South like that. It's always a risk because it's like it's their first play. So sometimes people just don't know them because they've never come through here.
Yeah.
Even in their like at their peak or whatever, So I would say like, any of like the OGs that I've booked are always kind of, it's just tricky with the scene.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a toss up. Yeah. I mean, talking about the scene here, I feel like that is one of the biggest downfalls in Nashville, and the biggest problem in Nashville is the fact that everything is free, where that's got to be the hardest thing to deal with when you're running a dance music venue that is sort of dependent on ticket sales to cover the costs of a lot of these artists. But when you go down Broadway, you have 100 bars and all of them are free to get into. If you even thought about running tickets at any of these spots on Broadway, I don't even know how people would react.
For sure.
But obviously for us doing it at Barstool, I mean, it's very difficult for us to run ticketed shows if they aren't a massive name that can be a hard ticket act.
Yeah.
Kind of some of these guys that are in between, it's super hard to get people on board with buying tickets because they can just go to any of these other bars and get in for free and not have to worry about that. Do you think that just kind of that free culture here in Nashville is hurting the scene when it comes to dance music?
I mean, for us, it's like, I think it differentiates us even more. And like people, it took time to obviously get there, but like people understand the value that they're getting. And it's like, if you want me to bring these like, you know, kind of top tier acts, like that are, you know, traveling in from Europe or, you know, like you are going to have to pay a cover for that. Yeah. That's the only way that this is sustainable. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think it does just differentiate us, and like people do get like the value now out of like buying the ticket. And it's like, even if you don't know the artist, like, you know, you're paying for like the experience. And like in any other major city, like obviously people, that's just understood. Like if you're going to a club, you're paying a cover.
And that's what I think is the craziest thing about Nashville, because I would think it would be so easy for all these places on Broadway to charge a cover, because it's like the level of talent when you come to any of these bars on Broadway is actually insane. So it's like, if you're charging $10 at the door, I truly don't think that anyone coming to the city is going to have an issue with it, because they're going in and they're hearing all these really, really good bands. DJs, like for the most part, I mean, I don't know how much people are going to pay like for these DJs, but to get into the venue and to hear these artists that are playing in these bands, I don't think it would be an issue.
Yeah.
And then it helps venues like yours where it's like, all right, cool. Now, if I'm charging $30, I'm bringing in an artist that is massive and having millions and millions of streams. It makes it a lot more feasible.
Totally. I mean, I think it's one of those things where like, if it happened uniformly across the board, obviously like it would just become people would normal. Have to get on board, you know, even if it was like I mean, there's so many, most of these places downtown have so many different floors now. And like, they have, you know, 2 or 3 floors of bands, and then they have the like DJ kind of club floor. It's like, maybe you only ticket that, or maybe you only ticket the band show. I don't know. Like, you have to pay a cover to get into a certain floor, as opposed to just like coming in the bar and shutting people down there. I don't know. I mean, it's something that I think it would definitely help us, and people would understand like the value of what we're doing in Nashville as a whole compared to other cities. That's what makes us unique, you know, just live music. And
because I feel like that's kind of one of the harder parts for you already is, one, you're already kind of a destination spot because you're off of Broadway. Where then 2, then you're also having to charge tickets because, like you said, I mean, a lot of these DJs cost a lot of money to get booked. I mean, they're big DJs. A lot of times if they're coming from out of state or even out of the country. So how do you kind of provide that value for these people to say, hey, this $20, $30, $40 ticket is why you should come here?
I mean, I think like at least the locals that are consistent people at the club, like obviously they've been a lot and they understand the value, but like from a tourism standpoint, I mean, it's kind of just the sound growing in the US as a whole. Like obviously we have a lot more people coming down from New York and Chicago and DC and like these major cities where they're used to having clubs. So I think like some of it's just been like time where people, when they look up nightclub Nashville, like we're going to pop up and they're going to be like, oh, I might recognize one of the DJs that's actually playing there now.
You're giving the value just off of all of the artists that you are bringing through here. But then obviously then when you factor in the environment of the venue, how it looks, what people are able to kind of take, because people are going to a lot of these clubs all the time, just in a dance music venue, like they want to be able to dance. They want to be able to kind of take videos, Instagram, whatever else. So if the venue is aesthetically pleasing to them, that's going to be something that is also going to give them a little bit of value. But for the venue side of things and for you as the business side of things, the ticket cost also covers a lot of these people that may not even be drinking here, where in the dance music scene, it's just kind of more so apparent than in a lot of these other like bars and country bars on Broadway where people are going and they're going to drink 10 beers and get hammered. This dance music scene, a lot of people drink a little bit less because they're going there to actually enjoy the music and dance, and it's more of a show. So even more so, the tickets cover that kind of side of things too. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and just like, you know, the talent fees, it's like we're not making all of our money off of the cover. So I don't, you know, the bar is really how we're making our profit most nights, and we're covering the expenses with the box. So it's like, that people don't understand that. No. I mean, it's like, I would say, you know, our average ticket price is probably like all said and done in like the $23 range for like most shows. But then, you know, when I book a bigger artist and tickets go up to $40, people start to get a little like shake. And it's like, well, if you want me to book bigger artists, it goes hand in hand, especially with our capacity too. I mean, we're a pretty intimate space from like a venue side of things. Which that's for me as a consumer. I look at that where I'm like, I will gladly pay that even more so because like, when else are you going to see these artists in such a small space? Especially like these artists that you're booking where 2 years from now, like you never know what level that they're going to be on. Or if they're going to be playing massive festivals and you're going to be 100 yards away versus in a room like Night We Met where it's like you could be 10 feet away from these DJs being able to listen to all of the music that they're putting out. And it's just such a more intimate setting, which is to me worth that extra $20. Yeah. We just had like a show. It was the week after our 2-year anniversary, Oscar Med K. And like, he's an artist where I was like, I'll get him one time in the club and he'll be on a rocket ship after that. I mean, the show is sold out. It was probably the furthest in advance we've ever sold out a show, which is pretty crazy. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, that show is like sold out like a month and a half or 2 months in advance. That's just a random one. But yeah, we do have artists where I'm like, see ya. We'll probably be your only play here. But you look at like the analytics on stuff like that, where it's like a show like that. I typically feel like Nashville is such a hard market to sell early in because so many people don't live here. So like for me hearing that where it's like, oh, these are sold out a month and a half is even more crazy to me because the majority of that means like I would assume that the majority of people that are buying tickets are locals here. Yeah, definitely. It is really hard to sell tickets in advance in Nashville because there's just so many options that people don't want to like commit too far in advance. So I mean, if I looked back at like our sellout, the majority of our like sold out nights, like it happens the night of, or like at the door at 10 p.m. or something. I mean, I look at that kind of stuff all the time where it's like, do we have Pauly D who like every time he comes here, he sells out. Yeah. But it takes, like, dude, he sells out like the day, like he sold 300 tickets the day of. Yeah. Because that's how last minute everyone is in Nashville, because the majority of them, like, whether it's they're not seeing the promotion because they don't live here, and then all of a sudden they're in town that weekend and they see an ad on Instagram or whatever else, however you're targeting people. Or then once they're in town, they're hearing from their friends that do actually live here. Yeah. And then they see it, or however else they come across it. But it's like, it is so hard to get these tickets sold early because of just the lack of locals that are here. I feel like that is why, like, I price, if it's just like kind of our standard night with like, I mean, I try to price the early tickets really low because I'm like, if I can get 50 people committed 2 months out even, I'm feeling like pretty good. Yeah. Like, I mean, if we're over 100 tickets, like by the time doors are, I'm like, I'm okay. We're going to have like a good night. That's kind of my marker. Yeah. I feel like, but. So talking about like the Oscar Med K show. Yeah. Is that a show that you guys made money off of or lost money off of, you think? Oh yeah, made money. Okay. But that was also because I don't know if it like cost even if you're selling it out. Yeah, that one I was early on. Gotcha. And so anytime I'm like that early, like we're gonna make money. But anytime I've taken, I mean, there's only been a few times where I've taken like a big swing and it hasn't been like a super profitable night for us, I would say. But then looking at shows like that, where it's like you're taking a big swing on an artist that is big, and is going to be a huge draw, but you might lose revenue on. Do you look at shows like that as still being worth it?
Yes, because I mean, I look at shows that I booked in 2024, and I'm like, if I didn't book that, it's also like a relationship thing with like these agents. And they're, you know, they have sometimes like 10 to 15 artists on their roster, and it's like sometimes you got to book. You have to do them a favor for them to do you a favor and give you an avail. I think that's the
strangest thing with like the music industry, because it's like, dude, you're making me book this artist to get to this artist a lot of the time. And it's like, sometimes like this artist isn't a fit. So it's like, you're also putting them in a bad position where it's like, if they're not a good fit for the venue, they're going to come here and play a shit show. And it just ends up being a waste for all the parties.
I mean, really the thing that I draw the line on the most is like, we have our genre spectrum, and like if I get an avail for an artist that's like in bass music or something, I'm just like, we don't do that at the club. So
which is easy for you to turn down then.
I'm just like, just don't send me any avails in this realm.
A lot of times where there's shows that we've like lost money on, but I still look at it as being worth it for the venue.
And just like, I mean, say you sell out that night, maybe still lose a little bit of money, but you have 1,000 people throughout the night in the space. That's 1,000 more people that are going to know to like come
eyes
back,
on your venue.
You know? I think if I had to go back, I would have done that more in the early days. Even if it was kind of like a loss leader, it's like just to get the notoriety out there. You kind of got to do it, but
opens the door to a lot of other artists too, where, I mean, they might not look at it, but then all of a sudden they see like, oh, this person's played there and this person and this person. Yeah, I'll take that gig now. Because I see that all of these other people have already been through the venue. So, but yeah, I mean, you're fresh off a lot of these awesome things. I mean, from the 2-year anniversary to announcing all these new shows. You go to Miami Music Week, you're able to kind of see a lot of these other artists and shows out there. You come home, and then you end up playing for one of the biggest artists in the world, if not the biggest DJ right now, doing support for Chris Lake. Tell me about that, man. How awesome was it?
It was sick. I was nervous for the first time in a long time. Prepping for that. And it's like, I'm so used to playing in Nightly Net and like in such an intimate environment. Like I don't even have to, I just know what will work in the room because I played there so many times, I feel like, and like how to warm up for certain artists. And I mean, that was the biggest show I've ever played. So, and
5,000 people at Pinnacle.
Crowd. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. I mean, just prepping for the set, I was like, am I going too hard or am I not going hard enough to warm up the dance floor to that big of a crowd?
Did he have like a do not play list at all?
No. Okay. I don't think
it's just don't play Chris Lake shit.
Don't play Chris Lake shit. He's like, he's going to come on and throw down.
Yeah.
It was an instant humbling experience. Like I came off my set, I was like, I felt pretty good about it. And then he comes on, I'm like, he just is laying down right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it's insane, dude.
He's one of the biggest house producers in the US. So
what was like one of the biggest lessons that you took away from that night?
I like to let like tracks breathe and like, I don't mix very quickly normally because I'm like playing a 2-hour set or something, but I had a 55-minute set. So I was like, I felt a lot of pressure to like
get the tracks in that you wanted to play.
Not mix drop to drop, which I still didn't do. But like, that was kind of my biggest takeaway. It's like, I probably let things breathe a little bit too much during the set, but like, it's hard to say. I like playing breakdowns sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's just a thing in dance music that you have to do.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like you're riding this wave of bringing people on that journey where if you're just doing it like you are in an open format club where it's just chorus and out, you don't let the song kind of get known by these people. I feel like a lot of times these people haven't heard these songs and you get through that first chorus and through that first drop and then into that second one, and and people start to kind of familiarize themselves with that song.
Yeah.
Where then all of a sudden that second drop comes in, and they're like, "All right, like now I'm into it."
Sometimes you have to you have to watch the crowd calm down for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then for the payoff and like for that, you know, kind of ebb and flow and, you know, sustain release kind of vibe of the set.
So does playing a set like that, when you got done, I know you said it was like humbling when he gets on, but how does that kind of change your vision of how you look at your own career as a DJ? Is there anything that kind of changed your mind or inspired you to do something different or just look at what you want to do differently?
I mean, it's always like, I love playing outside of the club now because it does give me a lot of perspective that I can't get by just playing the same, either in the lounge or in the moon room. At the club. So I think perspective is probably just like the biggest thing with my DJ style. But like I'm comfortable being like local DJ. That's like that's my vibe. So I love playing in the lounge at the club. Like there, you know, you have more freedom with like where you can go with the set and kind of push boundaries a little bit, as opposed to like warming up in the main room and you're like, I'm trying to set the room up.
How often are you actually DJing at the venue yourself?
Probably 3 to 4 times a month at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
That's nice then still. You still get to scratch the itch of being able to DJ a lot more too.
Yeah, I keep like DJing as like my passion, like my hobby, kind of. I don't want to like put too much pressure on it ever to like tour or anything like that.
Well, I feel like it's also got to be so difficult because you are running the venue too.
Yeah.
And then I look at it from the side of things where it's probably pretty similar to myself and my role with Stand and Bowery and Barstool, where you kind of have like a conflict of interest with you being able to play at a lot of these other places where you might get offers to play at, especially here in Nashville. I mean, obviously outside of the city, I don't think that there's probably any issue with it, but it's like, even for me, like asking you, I think you'd be a great fit for like Azure, but it just kind of doesn't work for you to go play at another venue and do another event that isn't your venue and your event.
I mean, it's tough. It's like anything that I play, I feel like has to somehow be tied in with
the venue,
the brand. Otherwise, it's like, why am I doing it? A little bit. That's how I feel. I don't know if you feel that as well.
No, I mean, it's like, it's hard because it's like, you want to be a representation of your brand.
Yeah.
But then, like, do you feel like that at all kind of takes away a little bit of momentum from you as a DJ side of things?
I would say yes, but like also it's like not my goal, I guess, to like really
become like a touring
or like platform myself in that way.
Yeah. Since becoming an owner of a venue, has it kind of changed how you listen to DJs?
Yeah. I mean, I think just because I've clocked so many hours and I've listened to so many sets in that room, like I do pay attention to how even headliners, honestly, even more so than like locals, hold the room. It's like, you know, we go late. It's like our headline sets are typically like 12 to 2. It's like, are people staying until 2 a.m. for your set? As a headliner, like that matters, you know, it helps bar numbers. Also just like the general vibe is way better when the room is held. Like Raphael on Friday, like everyone who went into the moon room stayed until 2 a.m. And I was like, this is sick. You know, obviously he knows how to control it. That's a huge thing I know in like open format world. Like you're competing with everyone else that's DJing basically to hold a crowd down there. And but it's even a thing like, and at night we met too. Like I definitely do notice that a lot, even and with locals too. And you know, it affects how I book. If I see people like really vibing with you in the venue, like I'm obviously going to book you more.
Yeah. You look at it as like, all right, this person is able to come back then for sure. Yeah. Cause I feel like, I mean, it's hard because I would assume that like on the DJ side of things from like when you were DJing in the past and still DJing all of your own sets, like you've obviously figured out a direction and a vision for like what you want played. But then now that you're in there and you're listening to all these different artists and stuff, it's almost like you kind of start to critique them a little bit more. But then being able to see things like that where you're like, all right, like this person is killing it. Gives you like even more of a vision of like, this is how it should be done, and then you start to look at these other people and you're like, all right, they're not doing it as well.
I mean, yeah, it's like I don't love every person that I book equally, obviously.
I feel like
so
you
I have
like
my own
you become
taste.
like more cynical.
You do.
Like,
I think it's like I'm jaded on a level now that like I can't go back from a little bit. So it's like we're here.
Like you want to be able to just go into the room and listen to the music and enjoy it, but then it's like at the same time you're like, fuck, dude, I have a revenue that I want to hit too. So.
But I can take things away even from like sets that I might not
have thought were like exceptional.
Yeah, exceptional, but like what did they do well? Or like why did they sell more tickets than X artist?
Yeah.
You know, I think about why.
Yeah.
You know, I think about the why a lot, I guess, when I'm listening to sets too and just like looking at numbers.
Nice. Well, what's in the future for Night We Met? I mean, is it something that you're looking at scaling beyond just a singular venue? Is it something that you're looking to get back into the event side of things and doing larger ticketed events and festivals and stuff like that? What's next? Yeah,
I mean, we're going to do some different pop-ups this summer.
Nice.
We have Lee Youth and Niels Hoffman at Fog Street, like on the rooftop, which is a pretty big show in like the melodic side of things. So definitely want to do like more pop-ups this year.
Okay.
At other people's spots, some with locals, some with like, you know, bigger DJs and headliners and stuff like that. The goal has always been to expand Night We Met like into another city as well. You know, I don't think we would ever go into like a major market. We would probably go into like a B or C tier market that is like ready for what we did, you know, kind of repeating what we did in Nashville, I think is like our value proposition kind of.
Yeah. You got to keep me posted on these pop-ups because I am very down to go to those. Yeah. Love it.
And I love doing daytime stuff because like I live at night and I'm a vampire sometimes, I feel like. So it's nice to do like daytime parties or sunset stuff. We did like a sunset pop-up at the Virgin Hotel last year.
Well, you guys did I guess, going back to the start of the episode, I mean, you were talking about your idea of the day we met and the night we met. You guys did the day and night collaboration with Harriet's.
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome. Like last year when you guys had A-Craze do Harriet's during the day and then come over to Night We Met at night too.
Yeah.
So
we partnered with Blank Canvas on that one. We work really well with them. Yeah. And we do shows with them at the club and stuff too. But that was fun. I definitely want to bring it back when it's right.
And I mean, I feel like the naming and marketing for that is a perfect fit too, where it's like if you are able to do some daytime parties at whatever venue that you guys figure out to collaborate with, get you from being a vampire and
exactly into the daylight for once.
But no, I think that's awesome. And I mean, it gives people two different shows to go to, two different sets because people are going to play those stylistically so different. A lot of kind of ideas and ways that you can run those events.
I think the pop-ups too, like it allows us to showcase like what a good local scene we have here too. Cause I like to curate those lineups like very niche for like our sound. Cause we're obviously going into someone else's space and trying to showcase who we are. Yeah. And we have like the other thing with like just the building of the scene in general is like, we arrived at a spot where like we actually had enough really talented local DJs and producers to like sustain the whole environment of the club. Cause it's like, I mean, we have 2 rooms. It's like, I'm booking 3 to 4 support DJs a night, basically on a Friday or Saturday. And then on top of the Thursdays where we have another, 3 to 4. So
yeah, it's definitely, something that I feel like a lot of people don't realize that there are that many DJs in Nashville that can cover all these genres.
There's a ton. Yeah. And like, that's too, like expanding into like the UKG scene. I'm like, okay, who's going to like put on for this? Like locally,
here in Nashville,
locally, but we have a ton of good producers and DJs here now that, can play a lot of diverse and they can go between genres. So.
Yeah. I'm excited for that, man. You got to keep me posted on that. I'm always down to go out to new events and listen to new music. So, I mean, that's kind of something similar with like these Azure Day parties coming to Nashville. It was something that I was really excited to put on so many of these local guys and build a name for Nashville in this dance music scene. Because like I said, I mean, I feel like outside of the occasional shows at Skydeck or somewhere else, like you guys are really the only venue that's doing it. Office and maybe a couple other places, but
just trying to give the consistency and especially just within our sound too.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I mean, we just got a couple segments to hit. So every week I have these guests on. We ask them to pick their top songs to put on a platform playlist. We're adding all these songs to Spotify, to SoundCloud, to Apple Music for the ones that you can actually put out on Spotify and Apple if they're official. So give me your top 3 songs that you want to put on a platform playlist right now. It could be what you're listening to in the club. It could be what you're playing in the club, what you're listening to in the car, at the gym. What are your top 3 that you're loving right now?
Pleasure by Jansen's, Home by Rossi, and Isaac Carter, Calling on Me.
So what situations are you listening to these in? Are these some that you're playing out?
I would say they're probably my most played, like replayed songs right now. Also playing them in the club.
Nice.
I just played the Jansen's Pleasure track actually, like for the first time. Like, so in the club, we do like our closing sets in the lounge. We kind of move people back into the lounge and like, you just get to get kind of experimental and weird. People are already like fucked up. So they're down to
a little bit more freedom.
Rage.
Yeah. I gotcha.
But I just played that in the lounge for the first time and it just like went off and I love that track. So I play a ton of his stuff. Played a couple of his tracks at Chris Lake as well. So
nice. All right. That's a good one. Yeah. We'll get all those added. You guys can listen to them, let them know if they're good or if you don't like them. But then last thing we got to do every week, we have the guests put somebody on a platform. So this can be a person, it can be another producer, DJ, it can be your favorite coffee shop, whoever that you want to shine a little bit of spotlight on. So these listeners, these viewers can go and check out, follow them, support them, show a little love. Yeah, I
would say Finnick is probably my top producer right now in Nashville. Obviously, he's already kind of touring and stuff on his own, but he's got a ton of new music on the way, like coming out, and I think he's going to put on for the scene. Goes to school at Belmont. He's about to graduate.
Nice.
But he's been one of my favorite producers here, and just like seeing him like grow as a producer and DJ has been awesome.
Yeah, I've seen him once when that Side Piece show.
He
did it after them. So. But crushing it. I mean, all the stuff that I've listened to from him has been great. So it's a good one to put on. I mean, if he's about to graduate from Belmont, you know that he's going to be good with music because that school is incredible. So it's a good one to put on. So anything else you got to get out to the listeners, viewers? Anything you got to promo? Upcoming shows that people need to come check out? I mean, the April lineup is out on socials.
I mean, I think it's a reschedule, but the DeVault show is going to be sick. I'm really looking forward to getting him in. I just saw him at Miami Music Week too.
Yeah.
It's a big one. Yeah. Omri as well. Super tasteful DJ. I'm just pumped to have that in Nashville for his debut.
When's the DeVault one rescheduled for?
It's May 9th.
Nice. That's my birthday weekend.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
We'll have to throw it down.
Okay. Yeah, he's been killing it with stuff that he's putting out on Experts Only, so I would imagine that one's going to be a very, very good show. So, well, awesome, man. I appreciate you coming in here.
Yeah, thanks for
gracing the Airbnb, not back at the house. But it's awesome to pick your brain and get a lot of this info out of you from Night We Met and be able to kind of promote you and everything that you're doing right now. And the venue has been absolutely crushing it, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store. So make sure you guys are following him. I'll get everything from his socials from Night We Met, so you guys can check out not only him but the venue as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Leave any comments in there for Austin. If you listen to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us a follow. Pretty sure you can comment on there too, so leave any comments for him there. Until then, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace. Check. Mic check. 1, 2. Yo, is this thing on or what?